Good evening. Welcome to the NWP call this evening. My name is Rich Simmonds, one of the founding partners with NWP. Just to let you know that NWP doesn't offer any financial advice. Any things that I share with you this evening is all based on my personal experience. Please note it's important that you understand how your funds are being used and know that past performance are not any guarantee of future results. My goal is very simple, and that's to help you achieve a consistent weekly income. NWP helps you to build a lasting legacy for your family through a sustainable ecosystem, and that focuses on consistent long-term growth and real results. With NWP, we are not members, we are partners. A member means you have a subscription. With NWP, there's no subscription required. And there's only two ways that you can be a partner with NWP, and that's to have a portfolio. And that's the first part of the presentation that I'll be discussing with you. And then in the second half of the presentation, I'll show you how you can benefit from the affiliate plan that NWP has. In NWP, the profits are generated by the professional traders. That means you don't have to have any experience yourself. They do it all for you. And the way they get these profits for you are either through the Forex or commodities markets, Forex being the global currencies, the trade in global currencies. And then there's the commodities, that's oil, gold, and silver. Typically, they'll use about 20% of your capital on a weekly basis to trade on those markets because they're wanting to get you a weekly profit. That's the whole idea of the NWP system. With NWP, your wealth is in your control and you are in control. But the main thing that I want to highlight to you is what makes NWP different. And the first thing is that you always have access to your capital. With a typical investment company, you will have your capital be locked away from anything from 1 to 5 years, and sometimes even your profits are locked away. But with NWP, all of that is accessible to you on a weekly basis. It's a weekly cycle that NWP has. You get to decide what you want to do with your profits on a weekly basis, and you also want to decide whether you'd like to leave your capital in the system for another week of trading. The second part of this, and I've alluded to this as I mentioned the profits, but your profit is always separated from your capital on a weekly basis. At the end of the trading week, which is at midnight on a Friday, the profits are separated. They then sent to a third-party payment gateway where they'll wait there for you to make a withdrawal. They're always separated. It's never done any differently. So each week, your profits are separated from your capital. The capital remains with the brokers, and your profits go to the third-party payment gateway. It's all about accountability and flexibility. NWP, in my opinion, offers the most flexible solution out there when it comes to your money, and it's always accountable. And there's three things that make this very different. And as I mentioned, the first one is that your capital is always available to you. It's never locked away. Those profits are separated. And because of that, the main thing is that all the members of NWP are experiencing the same system. So never do you have to ask someone, did you get your profits? Have you made a withdrawal? Because that's a normal thing in the NWP system. Everyone makes their withdrawal on a weekly basis. They never wait. If you've made a profit, why would you just leave it there not doing anything? Rather, take your profit, go and spend it, or put it back into the system. But the choice is always yours. And that's a manual process as well. So those three things, and the fact that you as a partner with NWP are auditing the system on a weekly basis, this makes it completely transparent and sustainable. Now, what you will see in your back office is the gross profit, meaning that's the full profit that is traded on a weekly basis. And each week is obviously a different result, but these are the week 71, which is the last week of trading. We have currently in the 72nd week, and tomorrow ends the 72nd week. So therefore, on Saturday, you'll see a new result. As you see here, this was the result that you would see in your back office currently, and that changed on Saturdays. What you see here is the gross profit, meaning that this is the full profits, and the profits are then split 50% to the partners with portfolios, and the other 50% goes to the business volume. And you can see the splits here. You'll also notice that there's 3 different portfolios, and then there's the boosters. We'll talk a little bit about the boosters, but they do have a separate trading portfolio, and so that they are separated from the foundation and the growth and the elite, as they are slightly different in the approach that the boosters and the crocodiles that we currently have. It's a different approach to the normal portfolios. The normal portfolios is a standard business of NWP, and those are the ones where it's consistent, and the boosters are really just there for to help people get started. The 3 different portfolios that you can put your money into are as follows. Depends on the amount that you are depositing. The foundation portfolio is where the minimum deposit is taken, and that's $10 up to $9,999. What happens here on all of these portfolios, the traders are working towards a monthly target. The monthly target on the foundation portfolio has been 5% or more. You'll see there that if you look in the gray, it's between 5 to 10% monthly that they are looking for on a monthly basis in the foundation portfolios. Then there's the growth portfolios. This is from $10,000 to $49,999. Here you're looking at a monthly target of more than 8%. And then the elite asset management portfolios, $50,000 or more in the portfolio, and you're looking at a minimum of 10,000 or plus that you would be getting on a monthly target there. These aren't paid to you monthly. All of these are paid to you weekly, and obviously your weekly accumulation makes up your monthly target. When you're ready to start, here are the following currencies. That's USDT, BNB, USDT, or USDC. And those are on the Ethereum network, the Binance network, and the Polygon network. Remember, all money deposited before midnight on a Monday will still receive profits on a Saturday. If you were late in getting your money in on a Monday, you'll receive your profits the following Saturday, and then every Saturday after that. As long as your money is in trade, it will receive profits every single week. Withdrawal in the NWP system, this is the only time fees are charged by the system. It can either be done in Polygon USDT or BEP20 USDT with the minimum of $5 on the Polygon network and minimum of $10 on the USDT BEP20 network. 5% fee will always be charged on profits and bonuses that you withdraw. So in other words, if you were withdrawing $10, 5% of $10 is 50 cents, and you would receive $9.50 in your wallet. Capital withdrawals, the first time you take capital, that's free. After that, any subsequent withdrawal will be charged 2%. Just to look at that weekly cycle, and everything works on a weekly cycle in NWP. So you would start, you'd put your money into a portfolio. When it's in that portfolio, the traders then generate profits from a Monday to Friday. And on a Saturday, you receive those profits. Those profits are in a payment gateway. It's a third-party payment gateway, and they're waiting for you to withdraw them. When you withdraw them, they go straight to your crypto wallet. It's an instant withdrawal, provided you've got the minimum withdrawal of $5. Even if you don't have $5 in the payment gateway yet, that money is still separated, and it's just waiting until you've got $5, and you can withdraw that any day of the week. Once you make that withdrawal, it goes into your private crypto wallet. Here we do recommend private crypto wallets or transfer wallets as opposed to exchanges. You just have so much more control and so many less questions that are asked when you use private wallets. And it's your money to enjoy. You always decide what you do with your profits on a weekly basis, meaning that you will withdraw your profits on a weekly basis. You don't just leave them in the system. You'll always get your profits and you decide what to do. So if we look at that and the way that you could compound your growth within the NWP system, you would withdraw those profits, you'd receive it into your private wallet. You then decide what you want to do. If you did want to put it back, you would deposit it again into the system. Once it's in the system again, it's in your check-in wallet, you open a portfolio, and once it's in a portfolio, it continues to trade on a weekly basis. And those profits are separated every Friday. And you then withdraw your profits once they're in the payment gateway. And that's an instant withdrawal. Just to talk about the crocodile, this is the power of $12. Now, $12 doesn't seem like a lot, but it does go far when it comes to the crocodile, because effectively what's happening here is you putting in $12, the company adds $18 to that for you, and this gives you a $30 base. So it's as if you've put $30 in as opposed to $12. Therefore, you'll be earning profits on $30 every single week. What happens here is the crocodile comes to an end once you've earned a total of $30. So it's really just a way of accelerating your growth so that you can get started a bit faster. When it comes to the crocodile, you're only allowed to have one crocodile per person. If you've taken a previous booster, you won't be able to take the crocodile. And as I mentioned, the crocodile comes to an end when the $30 is earned. That $30 is completely separate from any other portfolio that you have. So you can still have portfolios when you've got the crocodile or the boosters. You would just put them into the normal portfolios. They would grow and the profits are always separate, although all the profits are received into one wallet. So that contributes towards that $5 or $10 or more. As long as you've got that, you can make the withdrawal. But all the profits are separated so that you don't have to worry that if you had put in a different portfolio, that you won't be getting the full $30 that you would be promised from the crocodile. That will always be separate, regardless of how much else you've got in other portfolios. So just looking at the power of $12 and what can $12 actually do for you? Well, if you committed to and this would be a personal commitment, so a system commitment in the system. If you decided to put away $12 every month for 5 years, that's 60 months, that would mean that in total, at the end of 5 years, you would have deposited $720. What would your growth look like, or the projected growth, given the normal consistency of the NWP system? Well, within 60 months, you would have reached $5,000 in your portfolio, giving you a very nice income. So that is the way to look at it. A small commitment every single month grows to something substantial over time. And if you had to then extend that by another 14 months, the growth there projected from that 5,000, another 14 months of $12 onto that, that means you would have paid about an 880, around about there, and your projected growth over that 5 years and or 6 years and 2 month period would have actually been around about 10,000 or more, actually. So that just gives you a way to look at, and small little commitments on a monthly basis do make a big difference over time. When you need support from NWP, it's available on WhatsApp chat. That number is a Canadian number. The girls are very fast and efficient. So I do recommend you contact them on WhatsApp chat if you need support. If you can only email, it's a little bit slower, but you will still get support. The website of NWP is on nwprofits.com. NW stands for Network Profits. The offices and registration of the company is based in Istanbul, and the offices are actually in the Trump Towers in Istanbul in Turkey. We have put together this little link tree. This is our team's effort to help you and to give you all the information that you need. So do ask for this link tree. You can also scan it from the video here. And this gives you a few videos to explain the processes that I'm going through in the presentation this evening, as well as there's a little getting started booklet, a guide to crypto and crypto transactions, and a few other things that you might find useful. Right, so the first part of this presentation, as I mentioned, is the partners with portfolios. So that's you with your savings account or your deposit in NWP. And the second part that we'll look at now is your partners with affiliate. It's the affiliate plan. So this is all about creating a consistent weekly income. As I told you at the start, my goal is to see that you or help you earn a consistent weekly income. So the first way would be to have your own deposit so that you can get a weekly profit. And the second way would be to participate in the affiliate plan. Now, the interesting thing about an affiliate plan is even if you don't have a portfolio, you can still take part in the affiliate plan, meaning you don't have to have a single cent in the system. And this is where your community helps you build that weekly income. So it's all about a consistent weekly income. The bigger you can grow your community, the bigger you can earn on a weekly basis. You never earn from anyone else's deposit in the NWP system. You only earn from their profits. Therefore, if your referral is benefiting, you can benefit. So this makes it 100% sustainable because it's paid from that 50-50 profit split that I explained when we showed you what the dashboard and the weekly profits look like. There's 3 different ways of participating in the affiliate plan, and that's the direct bonus, the binary income, and the matching bonus. Those are the 3. These are all paid on a weekly basis as long as you qualify for this, and I'll show you in a moment how you would qualify for each of these. Looking at the direct bonus, once you've introduced someone into the system and they put their deposit in, you will earn 15% of whatever they earn on a weekly basis as long as they've got their deposit in the system. So you will earn from your direct partner forever as long as they have a deposit in the system. You'll notice that there's a left and right link. This is because it's a binary system, meaning that there's 2 legs in your business. And the second part of this is the binary, which we'll look at now and how you get qualified to earn the binary. Just as an example, we spoke about the $12 earlier, how you, if you didn't have any money, could earn the $12. Well, if you had referrals and they were earning at $80 a week, your 15% from those referrals would be $12. And there's your $12 that you would be able to, you can decide to spend it, or should you wish to put it in as a portfolio, you can start your $12 a month portfolio if you wanted to. Remember that just talking about the portfolios, there's no minimum, there's no amount that you have to put away every month. It's totally in your control. You decide what you want to do and how you would like to participate in the NWP system. So that's the direct bonus, 15% of the profits earned by your referrals. That's what you'll earn as a direct bonus. Then coming to the binary, because there's a left and right team, the system will simply look for volume in both sides, and you will earn 15% of the lesser business volume in whatever leg is the smallest. It's called the matched business volume because effectively you're earning from both sides, but you're only earning from the lessest or the minimum balance of your binary or your business volume on a weekly basis. This is all calculated from the weekly profits. So the weekly profits determine that business volume, and you will earn 15% of whatever the smaller leg is in your business. So looking at how you could be binary qualified, if we look at Max here, Max introduced Joe, but he didn't introduce Erica. Erica is what's known as spillover. So where did Erica come from, in other words? Well, it could have been the same person that introduced Max into the system, or it could have been someone above Max in the business. Everyone comes in on a date order. So whoever joins after Erica, for instance, even though they're not Max's, will come under Erica. And all the people in each of your legs make up the volume that you will see. So that 1,186, that's the lesser leg for Joe or for Max under Joe. It could be Joe's actual deposit, or it could be Joe and the people underneath him that make up that. So your volume is calculated as long as there's volume on both of your legs. As you can see here, Max, he's got volume on the left and volume on the right. Therefore, he will earn a binary bonus on a weekly basis. If you look at your business and you see, well, I've got some people in on my right-hand side or my left-hand side of the business, I don't know who these people are. Well, that's what we call spillover. Those are the people you don't know who they are, but they've actually contributed to your volume. So if you saw volume on either your left or your right, you would see that when we talk about volume, it's not the volume of people, it's the amount deposited. And in your back office, you'll see a deposit on the left, deposit on the right. That's not your deposits. Your deposits are in portfolios. When you look at the total deposits, this is your left and right team. So if you saw, for instance, that there was something on your right, all you would need to do is introduce someone who puts in a portfolio on the left. And as soon as there's volume on your left and right, you'd become binary qualified. And as that grows, so will your income grow on a weekly basis. The matching bonus is the last of the bonuses that NWP offers on a weekly basis. This is when you've got those referrals, and those referrals start become binary qualified. When they earn from the binary, you will earn a 5% matching bonus on whatever they earn. Level 1 is your referrals. Level 2 is the referrals of those referrals. And then level 3 is referrals of those level 2 partners. So you earn 3 levels deep. But this is not anything to do with the binary structure. You earn infinite levels on the binary, and you can have as many referrals as you want. All of those referrals of yours would be on level 1. All of the referrals of your referrals would be level 2 and subsequently down to level 3. So those are the 3 bonuses that are available on a weekly basis. This all contributes to you earning a consistent weekly income. So I invite you to join us and experience that weekly income for yourself. I'm here to help you start and answer any of your questions. I'm going to stop the sharing now. So if you do have a question, please just unmute yourself and ask your question. And good evening to everyone who's joined us while I've been doing the presentation.
Hi, Rich. Good evening. Now we're very well, much better, and I'm back home.
That's good.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, that's great to hear. I have a question about the binary. If someone like myself, if I signed up and I have nobody under me, I haven't signed up a second person, and there's some spillover on, say, my right-hand side. I won't get any benefit until I have one person on my left-hand side. Am I correct?
Yes, one person on your left, and as long as that person has got a portfolio, you will start earning the binary bonus. That's right.
Okay. Now, if that person doesn't have any sign-ups, so they're not signing up, do they get spillover from the top that will feed back to me or not?
They will. What will happen is if the way you described your business now is you've got spillover on your right-hand side. So when you introduce the new person, you would introduce him onto the left. And that person then, when you introduce someone else, you will be introducing that person in underneath that person. It wouldn't be underneath him, it would be in your leg. But that person would see that person as his spillover because it's effectively your referral, but the next position that your referral can go into is underneath that existing referral. if you were building on the left. And in your case, I assume that your team on the right would be your spillover leg from your sponsor. So when you bring someone in, you'll be bringing them in on the left because you'll be looking for volume on your left to build up your binary. And in turn, that new person that your first person that you introduced, he will then get spillover from you, as from the people that you would bring in to build your leg, if you were building your leg, for instance.
Okay, so if I have spillover on my right, and now I introduce Johnny on my left, there won't be spillover for him unless I sign up another person on my left. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct, yes, because only you can give him spillover, because you can either introduce people in onto your left or your right. So there's no one else who can bring people in on your left, because your spillover would be occurring on your right-hand side, because only you can put people in your case, on the left-hand side.
Okay, so that would be my aim: introduce somebody and then introduce more people to help them with spillover, and myself, obviously.
That's correct, yes, because the more people you introduce into that leg, the more you're going to benefit from the binary bonus.
Thank you very much for explaining that.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Johan. Cecil, yes.
Hi, Rich. I just want to mention something. Sometimes you have to look at your own binary, because it would depend on which leg that you are being introduced to. On my side, I have people on my left leg that would form spillover. For the people that I introduce. So you've got to look at which of the legs you are actually needed to grow.
That's correct, yes. So and if you don't see anyone on your left or your right hand side, because you might have just been introduced and your sponsor hasn't introduced anyone else underneath you yet, always just check with your sponsor which leg he could potentially be putting spillover into, or the people above him even. So always ask before you just put someone in. And remember that you don't have to put a referral into both legs yourself to qualify for the binary. You would only need to put it into one of your legs. Obviously, if there was no spillover, you would need to put people there. But if you already had people in one of your legs, for instance, you personally wouldn't need to put another person into that leg where there is people already. I know that in some of the other systems out there, you need to introduce a person into each leg, but that's not the case in NWP. So thanks for that, Cecil. Thanks for that question. And always just check and ask your sponsor to tell you which of the legs he could potentially put people into, so you know for sure which leg you would build and which one the sponsor could potentially build.
Sorry, Rich, if I can maybe just come in a little bit here again.
Yes, sure. Please do.
I think if you go into your back office and you look at your genealogy, you will see there which of your legs is your spillover leg, and therefore you can then grow the correct leg with your direct referrals and their referrals as well.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And that's so true. If if you don't see anyone underneath you yet, just ask your sponsor which leg would be the one that could potentially get some spillover, so that you would know which one to build. Thanks for that, Cecil. All right, good people. Well, that is my presentation for this evening. It's short and sweet. As you can see, NWP is really not a complicated system. So, but if you do have any questions, you're welcome to ask and make sure that you on either the Telegram or the WhatsApp group, so that you can contact us should you need us. Do have a good evening further. Thanks again for joining us, and do have a good evening. Thank you. Good night.